back to another session of On the Couch with Crazy Shares. We are definitely in crazy times, and today's tutorial is all about the elopement invitation. So, much ado about nothing, what do we need for this tutorial? All the information is up on screen now, as well as a PDF link down in the description. This particular tutorial is gorgeous and it has so many different textures and tones and really on track trend-wise for 2020. So let's get started. We start out, all the printing is done in this tutorial on an SR A3, which is slightly bigger than an A3. You can get 4 up on a page. You can see here I've got one with a design and one without, and I'll tell you about that a little bit later. Here are the name tags for the menu, which are later in the episode, as well as the envelope liner design and another invitation insert. Here we have printed velvet belly bands, absolutely stunning, and you can fit 8 up on an A4. Another insert also again has a design and non-design for the embellishment and or the embossing we're going to be doing a little later, and you can get 10 up on an SR-A3. Here we have a pre-cut envelope, also in that beautiful velvet. Now you can also get the template to cut it out yourself in the PDF link below. Tools you'll need: some eyelets, a 5mm hole cutter, and a eyelet punch. You will also need a wax seal. Now you can get these pre-made or you can make a custom one yourself. You'll need 1 or 2 for this tutorial. Then we have 2 options in tassels. One is going to be a tea-dyed white to get that really earthy rich tone, and one is a copper or rose gold, really stunning. Alright, first up we're going to cut out our menu, and what's really unique, you can use your steel ruler and your knife, but we're going to round the edges, very much on trend at the moment. When you're using your scissors to cut a rounded edge, if you don't have a cutter or silhouette, remember to turn the paper and not your scissors, and here you would get a very much smoother round edge. Then proceed to cutting a 5mm hole. This is where we'll put the eyelet and we will put the tassel. Now you don't always have to join paper with an eyelet, it's just a great finish so the paper doesn't tear when putting an embellishment or ribbon or a tassel through it. Here we are using the copper finish, but you can use the copper finished or that tea-dyed beautiful earth tone one we showed earlier. Alright, so now moving on to the embossing. Now I've created a template here, and it's great especially if you're going to be doing multiples of the invitation. You want everyone to be the same. You're going to adjust it so that the embossing does not cover the writing. Here I'm using embossing plates, feeding it through, and I normally need once, maybe twice through to get that beautiful finish. It is a 350 gram paper, so it's really stunning. And you can see here how we use this sort of gatefold to get that perfect finish, and then it's very subtle but very elegant. Again, we're going to proceed to the backing board of the invitation. It's just a simple straight cut. Now you can use a knife set or you can use a guillotine. You're going to do the same for the little details insert, and we have chosen to emboss this as well so that we keep the same look and feel through all the elements. Here you would just need to adjust to see where you're going, put it through twice as we mentioned earlier, and you've got that beautiful finish. And you can even see the embossing is really pretty even on this 250 gram paper. Alright, moving on to the belly band. Alright, here I would always use a knife, reason being it's a velvet finish and it's got a rough texture to finish off. We're going to be taping the ends up with red tape. You know, red tape is one of my favorites because it just bonds better. Alright, now we've got all our elements, we've cut them out, we've embossed them. Now time to put it all together. So if things are not perfectly aligned, which sometimes happens, you can just line everything up and slice off the edges that you don't want, so they are all equal and even. We're going to place our belly band, but then we're just going to adjust, because I would really like to put a wax seal here, just to get all those textures and those tones into the invitation. Moving on to the envelope, we're now going to create the liner for the envelope. And here you can see I've got a standard template that I use to cut out. Now, I would normally laser cut this if I've got quite a few, but not everybody has the luxury of a laser cutter. So we're going to do it again. Remember what I said, we're going to use our scissors, and we're going to turn the paper, not the scissors, and slightly pull on it to get that perfectly rounded edge for the inside of the envelope. Now for my liner, I like to show a little bit of the edge. I don't like it right on the edge. Also, you won't get that double flaking. So when you put in your envelope liner, you don't tape up the whole lot. You only tape above the fold line. Reason being is if you tape below and you've got a moving joint, you have problems with bubbles. All right, so we place that all in line before we've closed up the envelope. And we place it, and that's almost like a 5mm gap to the edge, which is really stunning. Then once we have laid it down, we are going to then score our liner, always top to bottom towards yourself. It keeps an even pressure versus going across. It's just even, and you get a much better finish. I do it once or twice because this is quite a thick paper. All right, now again, reason being you've got that fold, I use the bone knife just to go over the edges again so that you've got no rough edges. You'll see that it is loose, but that is to allow movement so that you don't get that bubble when opening and closing. Moving on to the assembly. Oh, this is coming together so nicely. Using tape along the sides, we lift and place and complete our envelope. I love working with this velvet, but it's also very forgiving. But it's such a luxurious finish. All right, and there is all our elements for our invitation. Looking absolutely stunning. Now we're going to move on to the matching menu. You're going to be needing some of that 250 board. You're going to need those name cards, some tassels, and some eyelets. Remember, the PDF cut file is in the description below. So we're basically almost going to repeat the same sort of steps we did for the invitation. This is slightly different, a longer, more sort of DL shape, and we're going to round the edges like we did in our invitation. Remembering, turn your paper, don't turn your scissors to get that perfect curve. All right, then we're going to take our template and we're going to cut out our name tag. Now we want the top of the name tag to fall over. So this is really, really great. Cutting again, straight with a knife and ruler set, and then cutting the curve as we've discussed earlier. All right, now you're going to place them one on top of the other so they are in perfect alignment. Make your hole for the eyelet, place your eyelet in, and clamp in place with your pliers. I leave it a little bit loose so that you can get a little bit of movement. And here we're using that tea-dyed white tassel, which looks absolutely stunning. To carry the look and feel through, we also want to emboss. And again, we put it through our machines twice, once in, once back. And we've got that perfect finish. I love texture and creating different looks and feels. All right, my lovelies. And that's it for today's tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed. Let me know if you've enjoyed and you want a little bit more about the whole elopement idea. But remember to subscribe, share, like, put those notification bells on, and we will see you soon. Stay gorgeous.